My name is Jake McCook, and this is Sarah Tapia Tomer, and we are the producers of a new documentary series called Shadowboxers. We're super excited to have you here. We're going to do a couple of things. We're going to share plans for the series and get some feedback on what we're up to and brainstorm ways that we can get this project off the ground and into the community. If you've never been here to Fusion before, welcome. And if you've been, welcome back. This is a really wonderful Center for Arts and Culture, and we're so glad that they welcomed us with open arms, and we appreciate all the work that Dennis has done. Fusion quite literally means the merging of separate elements into a unified whole, and it's a perfect place to have this event because that's what we're going to do. This is a mixed crowd. We did that on purpose. A lot of you are people that we worked with or went to high school with, but it's like my therapist is here, my realtor is here, my volleyball team is here. We did that on purpose because it's a brainstorm, right? And good ideas come from everywhere and everyone. And I feel like we need to kind of get out of our silos and mix and mingle a little bit more in this world. And that way we can create fusion, like it says. So I'm going to run through. Hello, Reagan. Welcome. Come on in. I'm going to run through the boring logistical details of the who and the what for this project, and then Sarah's going to talk about the why and the heart and soul. So I'm just going to give you the quick rundown of what we're going to do tonight. So the first is we're just going to tell you about Shadowboxers, what it is, what we're doing, and then we're going to have a small little group discussion where we're going to break you guys up into 3 small groups of people so that you can just get to know each other a little bit and then get some feedback and have a little small discussion about what this is, and you'll have a little guide to get you through it. And at the very end, we'll come back and we'll have a little bit of feedback about what you guys all said, and then we'll go eat because we have some more food and drink in addition to the lovely appetizers after the fact. So if you can stay and mingle, we would love to have you do that. Okay, this is the basics. Shadowboxers is a documentary series, as you watch on Netflix or PBS or your streaming platform of choice. We are profiling stories of hope, healing, and transformation. There are going to be 20 to 40-minute episodes. We have not decided how long exactly yet because it depends on how much money we can raise and your attention spans. Do you want 20 minutes or 40 minutes? That's going to be a question we can ask you. I don't think people really do 2-hour documentaries anymore. Shaking your heads. You do? Okay, Liliana votes for 2-hour documentary. We're going to start, our ideas are going to start with 3 people, plus Sarah's story. She's got a wonderful story that she's going to share with you in a second. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah and let her tell you more about her and the why. There you go.
Good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to see all your faces. My name is Sarah Tapia Tomer. I'm a Chicana, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a poet, I am a social activist when I have the time to put it in. I'm also a first-generation high school and college graduate. I chose psychology as my field of study because I wanted to understand myself better. I wanted to make sense of all those thoughts that sometimes go through your head when you are kind of going through some stuff, right? And I wanted to help people. I've always kind of had this voice and this way of words because I call myself a poet. I'd like to think of myself that way. But time and time throughout my life, it has gave people a way of connecting words to their emotions, which in turn gave them some kind of comfort and some kind of processing field, right? So this story kind of comes out. I've worked for Enlace, I've worked for Soy, PB&J Family Services, Sequoia Adolescent Treatment Center. And through this whole journey of community service, I've seen neglect and trauma and misguidance more times than I care to mention. But far and few between, I also seen how the human heart, the spirit, that determination, if you find it, that it can make a person whole again. So this whole project kind of started, me and Jake go back 20 years. We've had conversations back and forth as a service provider, and I'm sure some of you know this, you see the holes in the system. And not only that, through all the things I have gone through, watching my family struggle, my friends, my sisters right now who have been through this recovery journey and are still going through it. But last year around September, where we're from in Raton, which is a small town, Don't big your eye, you might miss it. But when I went back, they had held a recovery awareness rally. It was the second time that they had done that in that small community. And I felt compelled to go there because through the years, I've gone through, oh, did you hear so-and-so died? This person died. This person died. And it seemed to kind of get exponential as we went through the years. So when I went back in September, I felt, as being born and raised in there, someone who grew up there, all these people I knew, right? So I felt that I had to go back and kind of say something. These little things, when they start out, there's not a lot of participation, what have you. But I went, and during the speech that I had given, I had named off 20 of my friends that had passed away, either it was suicide or it was drug addiction or it was some sort of violent act. And when you're in a graduating class of 80, 20 is pretty damn significant. So you can imagine my surprise when I went there and they had a booth set up off to the right where you could write the names of someone that had passed, someone you knew. And you can imagine I was just stunned that there were at least a dozen more names of people I hadn't even thought of that were literally in the same group. And this doesn't include older people, your family, your friends, what have you. So I gathered that in all of this death, all of this tragedy, in a small town, the biggest thing is that nobody talks about it, right? You don't want to air your dirty laundry. Nobody knows. But what nobody tells you is that in a small town, there are no secrets. Everybody knows. So the main thing, and I've said it to Jake many times, is that I don't know how to fix it, but I know it starts with a conversation, right? These stories bringing to light your struggle, how you get through that. That's what this project is about. Yep. What gets you up every day? Where did you find that motivation? How do you do it every day? Yep. Because especially where we're from in northern New Mexico, resources are scarce. Not only is there not the funding, there's not the providers. You have to usually travel to Taos or Santa Fe or Albuquerque to kind of get that help. And most of the time, you don't have those sort of resources. So I call it termites holding hands, right? Because we're trying to hold this together ourselves. And the more that these resources disappear with our new administration, I'm sure we're going to see even less. It's becoming an element where we're going to have to help ourselves. And we're going to have to dig out of that ourselves. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you've seen our governor on Face the Nation on Sunday, and she was just talking about this, how her predecessor, kind of being in a recession era, she had gutted behavioral health out of Medicaid, period. So that was providers left, contracts were cut, people died, and we're still digging out of this 10-year sort of, mess. But that's why we're creating this for awareness, because until it becomes a state of emergency or urgency, nothing is going to change. And it's about stories. I've heard time and time again how people say it started with a story. It was a story from this person, and that's powerful. In New Mexico, we come from that culture of ancient storytelling. New Mexico is beautiful. We're always highlighted as being the worst state. We've got the highest drug use among teenagers, adult use, the highest overdose death per capita. So where's the good stuff? Where's that grit that we know that we grew up with? It's in our healing waters. It's in our dirt. It's in the stories and the way that we connect to each other. That's why people flock to these sort of areas, right? Because there's a sense of community here I don't think comes from anywhere else. So our why is just trying to help. We want to punch, it's about those people who have lost themselves to that darkness. And they're getting up every morning. They're finding that courage to fight every morning to get into the light. And this is where our title comes from, Shadow Boxers, because it's about that darkness that you learn. And you do have to learn and go through it to make it to the other side.
Well said. Take that mic. Well said. Sorry, we have to share a mic, so we're going to go back and forth. I couldn't have put it better myself. Thank you for that. Like Sarah said, she and I went to high school together in Raton, or in Maxwell High School, I should say. Yes. 20 years ago, and we've had these conversations going on for 20 years, and we just decided one day, like, why don't we just do something about it, right? And put it all together ourselves. So this is all very grassroots, community-based, and we thought, let's just bring a bunch of people together and figure out how we can take it from here. Obviously, we've talked a lot about mental health and addiction and very serious stuff, suicide and what have you, but I think I hope we can all redefine what that term mental health means, because it doesn't have to be the worst of the worst, right? Like, every day, this is where shadow boxers came from. Like, you were all shadow boxers. We are shadow boxers. We go through life every day just trying to do our best. This is my little sticker. I should have brought it for everybody. Doing my fucking best. Sorry. But, you guys are out there serving your community, trying to raise good kids, trying to make the world a better place. And what support out there is for you guys? And where is the shining on the light? We hear so much darkness about what's going on in politics or about what's going on in this city. Well, we really reject that, because we're really proud of where we come from, and we know that there's really great people here who want to help each other, and we want to give that a platform to who knows, right? Like, part of this project, and we're going to talk a little bit, we'll go into like the values of it, and we want you guys to understand where we're coming from in terms of like the production, right? So hope, healing, and transformation is obviously like the shtick. Too many projects and documentaries focused on like the deep, dark sadness, right? That's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to have Dateline. We're not trying to shame people or exploit people or embarrass anybody. They say, we talked to somebody the other day, he gave us a great line, I'm going to steal it from you. We care less about the mess and more about the message. We want to focus on the triumph, not the trauma, and we care more about the person than the problem. And I feel like that gets lost a lot, but we as producers are coming with it from a very different perspective. The other thing is honesty, transparency, and community, right? Like, we don't have all the answers. I'm not a mental health professional. Sarah has a really great background in it. I'm a public relations guy, right? So that is not a mental health background, but I'm going to use what I know how to do to bring people together and try to raise this up. So even though we are going to focus on like traditional, thoughts of mental health, when I started this project, people have come to me with like really great ideas that I would have never thought of before. Somebody shared experience about infertility and the challenges of having children over time. We were at a great play a couple of weeks ago about LGBT kids in northern New Mexico who had been thrown out of their homes, and they shared their stories. And then this great center in Albuquerque decided to make a play based on their stories and shared it with the community. It was a wonderful way to use art to sort of help with that. Veterans and PTSD, we're all still coming out of, COVID and all the mental health challenges with that. So the point of this is that everybody's going through something, right? And we need people, and we hope that people will see this and feel a little bit less alone and will want to sort of take a first step in either talking to somebody or getting services or what have you. And there's something about the magic of storytelling and video that I think people respond to, which is why we're doing it as a documentary series. Anything else to add there, Sarah?
Something I said in Raton was that, and it's just a quick point, nobody has all their shit together. Nobody does. And mental health, seeking help, even recognizing that you need help is often stigmatized far too much. So we just want to send the message that it is okay. Like I said, nobody has their shit together. So it's about finding those resources and helping each other grow.
Yep.
Finding a way to heal together. As our good friend Adam says, we get sick alone, we heal together.
Amen.
Right?
Yep. Thank you. Part of this is like church. Part of this is group therapy. So you're going to hear a lot of those things. Okay. So we're not going to talk to you forever. We're going to get more interactive here. We're going to show you a very quick video. This is a video that we produced about a wonderful family in northern New Mexico who went through the Hermit's Peak Afghan fire. And we're showing this to you as an example of how we as producers approach storytelling. I produced this video with our colleagues Adam and Jose, who's going to be the director of this project. So it's just a couple of minutes. We'll talk about it on the other side, and then we'll break up into little groups. Wow. I love that family so much. that speaks for itself. We didn't know those wonderful folks before we met them. We got introduced them from friend of a friend, and they were kind enough to welcome us into their homes and spent the whole day with them, took the little RV out on the land and played with the dogs and you name it. And they were just so welcoming and so willing to share their stories because they knew what video could do, right? They were like, we don't want to be forgotten, so we want to tell a story. We didn't have to convince them to do this. It was just very easy. But they're also just really great New Mexican people, right? Like just very authentic. What you see is what you get there. And that's the kind of people we're looking for, right? Just people who are comfortable and authentic and want to do it. So the credit of that work, really, I'm just the producer who like gets the people, in front of the room. But our team is awesome. So Jose with the camera, he's the director, and he's going to produce Shadowboxers. He's going to direct Shadowboxers. The tall guy is Adam. He's been a wonderful mentor to me and Sarah, who has kind of doing his own projects like this nationwide. And he's just been really support us all the way through. These Vato Locos got together in Corrales probably 2 years ago now. And I really wanted them to meet Sarah. And so we ended up just going to the Corrales Library. Shout out to the Corrales Public Library for giving us a place to film this. And we just sat down and talked with her. Do you want to share a little bit about that, about the interaction with Adam and Jose and that experience real quick?
Oh, my goodness. So I hate myself on camera. And when we went in there, I really didn't know what to expect. I felt really privileged because Adam was kind of toying with that project where he was taking several different people who had been through a lot of adversity in their life, but they contributed some form of art, right? So then he had picked me. Well, one of them was me, so I was super proud about that. Totally cool. Jose has a way of kind of guiding you through that, and I at first you feel like you're in a job interview, but then as you get to know each other, and then he's like, wait, we're going to start over. We're going to do this over again. Now that I know you, we went through that. So I felt really comfortable with them. It was super awesome. I'm sad that it didn't finish, didn't go all the way into production, but this is where we tail up, right?
Yeah.
And that's actually my house. That's my car in the background. That was my dad's 57 Chevy. It's been in my family since I was 8 years old. And now that my son was 8 years old and I take him cruising and we're in the same seat, just beautiful. So we featured that. Yes.
There you go.
And that's, it's sad to say that is the only piece of my family legacy I have to hold on to. Another part of culture, right, where it gets lost and you can't really trace your roots back because it's lost. And if you don't know where you come from, how do you know who you are? That self-identity is one of the hugest crises that, I think people, it causes a lot of trauma, causes a lot of confusion and whatnot. But all in all, it was a beautiful day. I was super excited. Like I said, these guys, very genuine and weren't pushy. Like Jake had said in the beginning, some people that we had talked to before were worried about exploitation and people kind of highlighting things that they shared with trust, but they kind of blew it out of proportion. We're not here to do that. And these guys are really great about that.
Thank you. Sorry, that's a little bit of a sales pitch for us, but it's true. Okay, we've talked a lot. We're gonna turn it over to you guys. So this is why you're here. We need 3 things to get this project off the ground. The first is stories and story ideas. So stories, maybe there's somebody out there that who has a great story that hasn't been told or hasn't been told in the way that we want to tell it. Maybe it's you, right? We just need to source those ideas. Or just story topics, right? Like we ran through the things of things that people have been sharing with us or what we could do. What do you guys want to see profiled, right? Like you are all part of your communities and this state. And so we would love some feedback about topics that we are not thinking about right now. The second thing is we need partnerships and organizations to get this off the ground. We're going to do what's called a social impact campaign. It's a very fancy term for once you have something, then how do you get it out into the community? We want to take this all around New Mexico. We want to take it to Raton. We want to take it to Taos, to the communities who really need it. And so we're planning a big campaign with it. And so we're going to have a list of organizations that we're kind of going after, right? Government, private businesses, philanthropy, that kind of thing. And we'll talk about that in a minute. The last thing is funding. Obviously, it takes money to create a documentary. We are not trying to get rich here, but we need money to pay the crew, pay the talent. Sarah's going to be the narrator of this film. And we need to raise about $75,000 to do the first round. I'm pretty confident we'll do that. I feel like if you just do good in the world, the money will come. And we're just kind of putting that out there. So we're not going to ask you for $75,000 tonight, unless you brought it with you. But we are going to ask you for your ideas. So what we're going to do for the next 20 minutes or so is we're going to break up into 3 groups. And we're going to have a person at each little group help you with the questions. And we're just going to ask you for a little bit of feedback about this project. What do you think about it? Maybe if you're confused about it, what do you like about it, don't like about it? And then we have like a big list of folks that we're going to go after. And so we're going to ask you if you know anybody. You don't have to think about it right this second, but we're going to keep this on screen. So if you know anybody who works for one of these organizations, or maybe you work for one of them, or maybe you are a therapist or a nurse or someone that wants to rally your community for this project, we would love to work with you on that. This is just the beginning, and we're just trying to sort of, connect the dots with everything. So we'll take about 20 minutes to chat, and then we will come back and share it with the group, and that'll be it, and we'll go eat. We have little note cards with you. If you have either a story or a partner organization or something that you want to share with us privately that you don't want to share with the group, that's totally fine. You can write it down. You can give it to us after the event. You can email us, whatever you're most comfortable with. But for the next 20 minutes, we'll get to know each other a little bit more, and then we'll come back and close out. If you guys want to summarize your groups, vibe a little bit, you don't have to take long. And then if anybody has anything that they want to share with the group, you're more than welcome to. This is not going to be an open mic, and we're hungry. But Liliana, do you care to share anything, top lines, general, about whatever questions that you ask the group? Can be any of the subjects. We don't have to go through the organizations right now. You guys can follow up with us individually if you have a lead. We will do that, so we don't have to spend time on that now.
Our group, honestly, everyone was very excited immediately. Everyone just had ideas of you should tell these stories. And there was so many different ideas, from teachers in rural communities to the Transgender Resource Center of New Mexico, which is a resource that doesn't actually exist in even our neighboring states. Immigration issues, specifically DACA recipients, given the in-between status that gives them now. I'm not even going to think of all of them because I didn't know I was going to do this. But yeah, I think that overall everyone was really excited and had a lot of ideas about stories that they would like to hear. And there was a lot of feedback about the branding and logo. Hopefully it's useful. But overall, there was just a lot of excitement for these stories of hope and healing and transformation. So,
perfect. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Britt.
Thank you.
Can you join us?
Our group was amazingly introspective. I was really touched by a lot of what everyone shared today, and it made me feel like a lot of people in our group would be amazing interviewees.
Did you write them down?
Yes. With my pink sparkle pen.
Yes.
Yes. We heard a lot about stories that people experienced in their own lives that they wanted to talk about the stigma of. So whether that was experiencing addiction yourself, or experiencing addiction as the child of an addict, or whether you had a different experience of motherhood and felt like that was stigmatized and you didn't have a community to talk to about it. We talked about what it's like to come from small communities where your connection to the land is being lost. And many other things I'm sure I'm forgetting, but I did take diligent notes for you.
Beautiful.
Also as feedback on the logo, all that written down. But in terms of the idea in general, I think everyone was really excited and felt like this is filling a gap, especially in New Mexico, that is needed to erase the stigma that we were all talking about and sharing.
Perfect.
Nice.
Thank you, Sparkle Pen Extraordinaire.
Our group was chatty, and stories, and lots of resources are going to come out of our group. Addiction, prison, veterans.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think there will be some people who are willing to be approached to share their story. We talked about trauma and what that does. And we talked about NICU parents and the resources that they might need. I mean, we had a whole gamut of ideas, and not just focusing on addiction, because when you think of mental health, you think of addiction or depression.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's way more than that.
Yeah.
So our group is very excited about your project and has lots and lots of ideas for you.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amen.
So congratulations.
Thank you. The last thing I want to say, a lot of you have asked, like, what's next? What can you do? We have a great website that you can share with anybody right now. It's boxtheshadows.com. Shadow Boxers was $5,000, and so that's why we don't have that website. But please share it. If you want to share this event on social media and like share with people that you came to it, that's always a thing that people like. Social media, I'm tired of it, but some people still use it. But yeah, if you have private leads that you just want to talk with us about one-on-one, you can email us. We'll send you a follow-up afterwards, because I think we captured your email, so we can stay in touch. If you don't have, if you make sure that we have your contact information if you want to be in touch.
So what is the website?
Boxtheshadows.com is the website. I should have put that up. I failed in my PR duties here. Anyway, we have lots of great food. Please stay as long as you want. You're not obligated to, but thank you to Fusion and to Dennis and to Braxton and to Rebecca for all their help putting this together. This was definitely a community effort. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to our videographer, Andreas, everybody who had a hand in this, and we'll leave it to Sarah to close.
All right, guys, so it's my privilege to share this little piece. When my sister was in recovery the first time, well, she was in rehab, she had called me and she asked me to write something for her. She didn't say about what. She didn't give any details. I think I said, okay. And being the middle child and feeling everything that transpires between all my sisters, this came out of my head, and it came to me in the middle of the night like a heartbeat. And I feel that this touches a lot of people. When my other sister was in rehab, she posted this on next to her bed, and she read it every day. And she's actually doing really well, which I'm really, really proud of her for saying this. But she shared this with other people in that facility. And this is called Through the Fire. In chasing my demons to feel my desire, I watched myself come apart from myself through the fire. And although I'm scared to death, I know I must be brave, because to this drug I no longer want to be a slave. For this part, darling, I know I must be strong, because I don't want to live life feeling like I'm always in the wrong. Through the fire. I lost pieces of myself I'm trying so desperately to find. It's a rough road hitting all the potholes inside my mind. I've been lost in the dark and forgot about the time. But the end is in sight, but only through the fire. Even though I know better, I still have to learn. And for this part I cringe, because I know it's gonna burn. The storm is coming, and I am but a bird on a wire. But I will cling tightly to make it through the fire. I close my eyes and I pray to God that I rise from the ashes. I know now why Mother said never to play with matches. For this blaze began so long ago. The embers were glowing, but I did not know. I let it all go and I lost control, and now it has become a battle for my soul. Time to dig up all that was buried and let it all transpire, for that is what it is to walk through the fire. Please let me feel, but only so I can remember how to breathe. Oh, please let me feel so I can remember to believe, remember how to just breathe, and know that everything I need is inside of me. My eyes have cried 1,000 rivers, but the need for water is dire. And now I know it took that pain to make it to the other side of the fire.
Well,